I just thought I'll introduce myself first. I'm Shona Easton. I design handbags and leather goods. I'm based in the UK, and I wanted to. Well, I've got this VIP club, and Dr. Jane Lewis has just joined, and so I thought it'd be really nice to try and get to know my VIPs better. So today's interview is with Jane, and we're going to have a chat about handbags and other things. So, so yeah, I'm really pleased that you agreed to chat to me today, Jane. And I think that we met, if I remember rightly, I think it was 3 years ago. I think we met at a ladies' event on the fort, No Man's Land Fort in the Solent. Yeah, very strange place to meet someone. In fact, we met on the boat beforehand, so yes. But we spent a day and a night there with a group.
We were roommates, weren't we?
We were roommates, and it was a stunning venue for a day and a night away. It was fabulous. Yeah. So that's where I met Jane 3 years ago, and we've seen each other once or twice since at various events. And so it's really nice to talk to you today. So I'll just explain what the VIP Club is for everybody. So I have set up a special VIP club for people who really like my bags, and it enables them to find out more about me, behind the scenes info, and get special sort of insights, and even help me on design sometimes. I put little I've got a group, a Facebook group for the VIPs, and sometimes I post in there like, what do you think of this design, this colour? And so they get to feedback on the work that I'm doing. So it's quite exciting for me, because I like to get feedback from people who know what I do and like my designs. And hopefully they like it too. And of course, they also get little specials, special offers, special competitions, and a special permanent discount for the time that they're in the club. So that's a little bit about the VIP club. So Jane, can I ask you what first drew you to my designs?
Well, I guess originally it was sharing the room with you in the fort, and you had this rather fabulous you had this handbag, and I asked you about it, and I was like, "Ooh, that's nice. I like that." And then gradually the story of how you created it and how you created the company, and and creating a factory and creating work for women in India, that it was like, they're nice designs. I like a good handbag. I really love the ethos of what you're doing. And then as I started, occasionally I'd see posts where you'd got special offers on, or sales or whatever, and I'd go and have a look, because I do like a bargain myself. I'd go and have a look, and just, it's the colours, and it's the combination of the colours, the design, and the ethos behind it. And some of the colours are just brilliant, and I like bright colours. I like subtle colours as well, but I do like bright colours. And some of the colour combinations you do, just amazing. And some of the bags are, I don't know the names of them necessarily, but some of the bags, there's one that I have, and it's only about that big, I suppose, but it's got loads and loads of pockets, and it's just really handy for nipping out with not much more than a purse or a phone. And it's in a really bright electric kind of a blue. So
I know the one. Yeah, I think that's the little Gina bag. They're quite new, actually. Nice bright colours, yes. Yeah, so I'm pleased that you picked up on the ethos and the ethical practices, because over the years that I've been working, you might not know this unless you've read my little e-booklet. I worked a long time ago for various big names in the high street, and I've been going to India and China and all sorts of places where these things are made for years, nearly 30 years now. And a long time ago, I did see some really horrible practices, there was children working, and maybe they were working because they had to, the parents couldn't send them to school, they had to pay and they couldn't, I don't know. But there was children, and there was people working long hours, when they didn't have a home life at all. And so when I was able to help set up my own workshop, that's what really, really was important to me, to make sure that the ladies who work there we actually took the workshop to their village so that they can walk home. They walk to work, walk home in the evening. They work 9 to 5 like we do. And they have weekends off. And yes, there is overtime because factories do that sometimes. You know, they have to get things out. But they don't have to do it. They only do it if they want to. And all their kids go to school. So that's, I'm really pleased that, you know, you have noticed that and that other people are starting to notice that, you know what, it's good to get things made in India because they're skilled, they're highly skilled people. They can make it beautifully. And we're giving them jobs, you know, really skilled jobs and well-paid jobs. So that's great. And the colour thing, I have noticed that you like a bright colour bag. I think you've got quite a few different colours, haven't you?
Yes, I've got. Let me see. So I have got a dull. I've got the sort of duller colours. I've got one of the big brown hold all type things. But I've got a turquoise one. I've got the bright blue one that I mentioned, and I've got it's kind of an orange. Yeah, an orange one. And I've also got one of the handbag liners, which is in a kind of, it's in a pinky colour.
Yeah, they're bright so that you can find them inside your handbag.
Yeah.
So do you like to coordinate with your outfits, or do you like to clash, maybe wear an orange bag with a green top? I don't know.
I buy the bag and then I decide when I'll use it. I mean, I tend to wear quite a lot of blue in bright blue's a good colour for me. That blue is a good colour for me, and the turquoise is a good colour for me. So those ones will tend to work with what I wear. Not always. So it's more my eye catches the bag, or the bag catches my eye, and then it's and then where does it go with what?
And
I've got a black one, which is for sort of computer. You know, it can take a laptop in it. I don't use that as much, but yeah.
So does your work influence your choice of handbag? I mean, what do you use for work, or do you change what you use?
Well, most of my work is from home, so it doesn't. It's not as relevant. But if I'm going, I have got clients. I've got clients. I've got a client in Canterbury who I go to. That will tend to be the more pragmatic. That will tend to be the black bag because I've got to get the computer. That it's about pragmatic. It's not about colour then.
And when you travel for work, don't you? Do you plan what you're taking handbag wise, or do you take a few?
The hold all. It depends whether it partly depends on weight. If it's going to be a lot of weight, I'm going to take a trolley dolly anyway. But the hold all, if I know I'm going to be away for a couple of nights, I'll often take the hold all because it's really really well made, and it's good. It's a good quality. It's got a good quality solid feeling to it. It's the brown canvas one, but it looks good. Mm-hmm. And I know that people go, oh, that's nice. It's got that about it. Yeah.
Excellent. That's nice to hear.
And certainly I know with the handbags that I was out with some friends recently. We were having lunch and I took my handbag. I was paying the bill, and I paying my bit of the bill, and took my handbag out, and they were like, ooh, this was the bright blue one with the pink lining. Ooh. Ooh, where did you get that? So I do get comments, when I've got got one of the bags, I'll often get a comment from somebody, oh, where'd you get that?
That sounds good. I like that. So what do you do for work? Tell everybody what you do.
So I'm a coach and a trainer. More lately, I've started to really follow my passion, which is wine spirituality. And it's Huna is I'm laughing at the dog. He suddenly decided to join in. So Huna is the spiritual, energetic, healing and shamanic practices of Hawaiians. And I first got into it because I was suffering from depression, and I wanted to get over it without going down the pharmacological route. I was put on Valium when I was 13, and it wasn't a good experience, and I didn't want to repeat.
Oh, no.
So I went through a whole voyage of exploration and ended up learning about Huna. And originally I was just going to do it to sort myself out, and then, well, you know, and of course it meant I got to go to Hawaii, and that was tax deductible, which was a good thing, because I managed to figure a way of making it tax deductible, because but at that point I was already coaching at that point, and I claimed to my accountant that it would help me with my coaching work. And then I went once, and then the first time I went, it was all about working with myself. The second time would be about working with other people. I wanted to work with other people, so I thought, right, I'll go a second time. And I was only going to go twice. And then I went a third time, and I'm about to go. In fact, my journey starts this afternoon. It'll be my 34th time.
Wow.
Going. And, you know, for the first 7 or 8 years, I was a student. I just went and studied. And then about 14 years ago now, I think, I was invited to start doing some teaching. So I've been teaching it, and they're really encouraging me, kicking me almost, to be teaching it on a much bigger scale over here, because the possibility, the freedom that it gives you, the liberation, it's quick. And that's what I love. There's loads and loads of tools, techniques out there for getting over your baggage, getting over issues. And they can take quite a long time. The Huna process is, when you first learn them, maybe they're 5, 6, 7 minutes. But once you've got them, they can take under a minute. And to release something in under a minute, well, yeah.
That sounds like my kind of thing.
Who wouldn't?
Exactly. So what do the locals in Hawaii make of a British lady coming over to teach their ancient practices?
Mixed. It really is mixed. One part of the history of Hawaii was that in the not the last century, the century before, in the 19th century, basically there was a land grab. Hawaii was seen as a very strategically important place because it's right in the middle of the Pacific. It's kind of halfway between both sides of the Pacific. And the Americans wanted it, the British wanted it, the French wanted it, and the Russians wanted it. And the Hawaiians, being small, realized that they would have to give in to one. So they, in the end, they gave in to the Americans. But there was a lot of cultural appropriation. There was a lot of the Hawaiians would tend to be treated like idiots and second-class citizens, which is crazy, because one of the first places in the US to have electricity was one of the Hawaiian palaces. They liked technology. They may have led lives in a very land-based, close to the land and close to the sea, because they're islands, and it helps if you understand the ocean. If you're on a much smaller than Britain, it helps to understand the ocean if you're living on an island. But there was, the culture was very much looked down on and not regarded as culture, to the extent that cultural practices, to a large extent, were outlawed.
Right, really?
Yeah. And there's a story from the 50s, from the particular lineage that I teach. So in Hawaii, lineage is really important. Who taught you? Who did you learn it from? Who gave you permission to teach it? All these questions are really, really important in the Hawaiian culture. So the lineage, the version of Huna, if you like, that I teach, we have a strong lineage. We know we can trace it back 28 generations.
Wow.
That we know of, and we know that there were more behind, but it's traceable back 28 generations. So a couple of generations back, Daddy Bray, he was arrested for chanting Hawaiian chants, so spiritual chants, in the marketplace in his town. He knew it was illegal. He knew he'd be arrested, and he did it deliberately. So, and that was in the 50s. So even in the 50s, and that's not just for the Hawaiians, for indigenous people of the United States, spiritual practices were effectively not legal.
Really? Gosh, I didn't know that. So when was it allowed? When were they allowed to practice it again then, or what happened? I mean, did it become legal or just accepted?
There was a, I'm not sure, I can't remember whether they passed the law or repealed the law, but the law was changed in, I think it was 1984, but don't quote me on that one. But anyway, so the American Congress actually changed the law so that indigenous practices were now legal.
Gosh, that's really recent. Wow.
Yeah. And I mean, they call them religious practices. Huna's not a religion.
No.
It was the Hawaiians back in 1819. The Hawaiian monarchy, they had all the temples destroyed. They stopped it being a religion, if you like. So it's not a religion, it's spiritual practices. But then to go back to your question of what the Hawaiians think, because of the history, for some Hawaiians, teaching anything that comes from Hawaii, teaching any Hawaiian knowledge is cultural appropriation. So some of them really don't like it. Some of them say, well, what we teach, this word Huna. Huna is a Hawaiian word, but it's a term given by Westerners to sum up the spiritual energetic practices that they knew went on, but they didn't necessarily always know what they were because of the way the Hawaiians had been treated. A lot of the practices had gone underground. They had literally become secret. Huna means secret, so the name, it works. But of my teachers and my teachers' teachers, they've been really, some of the Hawaiian elders were very instrumental in setting up the workshop in Hawaii and in making it happen, because they knew that the learnings are important, the teachings are important, and they wanted them to be shared more widely. They knew they needed to get out of Hawaii so that they could be shared, and also so that they could be preserved, because the reason that the version that I know ever came into if you like, being taught by white folk, was that Papa Bray, who was the son of Daddy Bray, who was the guy who chanted in the marketplace, Papa Bray, his family didn't want them. At that time, it wasn't cool or it wasn't useful or whatever, but they didn't want them. And if my current teacher's father hadn't come along and learned, they would have been lost. Very simple.
Yeah.
So yes, I do understand why some of the Hawaiians have mixed feelings about it, but the truth is a lot of the stuff would have been lost if it hadn't been for people like my teacher's teacher.
And if people like you didn't come in and do it, then, you know, if the locals don't want to be the teachers anymore, then, you know, they need teachers, don't they?
Yeah. And now they do. I mean, they're really getting the interest in the Hawaiians themselves are deeply interested in their own traditions and their own cultures and their own teachings, and many more of them are sharing. So,
brilliant.
Which is great. Yeah.
So you're introducing it to the UK, to people in the UK?
Well, there are people who do teach it in the UK. What I'm doing that's a bit different is that I'm going to be running 5-day retreats. It's the same as you learn on the 10-day retreat that we do in Hawaii. But in Hawaii, we have a hula master to come and teach hula, which is the traditional dance. I'm not very good at hula, and you have to study a long time. You know, he started learning when he was 13, and I think he was nearly 30 before he was officially made a teacher. Wow. So you study a long time for the honor. It's not my joy. It's not where I excel anyway, but I'd have to study a very, very long time, and most of it in Hawaii, in order to be able to teach that. So by not teaching that, we can reduce the time to 5 days rather than 10.
5 days sounds intensive anyway.
Yeah, 10's very extensive. So that's what I'll be doing that's different, is teaching it in a 5-day retreat, as opposed to 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, which various other people around the country are doing.
So presumably what I meant by intensive, like 5 days would really give people a real feel for it in that time.
Yeah, it's a real deep dive. So there's a lot of I teach a lot of release work, get rid of a lot of baggage, and then we do all sorts of, some of the stuff's really cool and fun. So we play with the elements, initiation into the elements. There's a huge piece on energy. The nearest parallel I can think of is Reiki. It's not Reiki, but kind of Reiki-ish. But whereas Reiki has a fairly limited number of symbols that they work with, we've got 36. But we teach them, first time I run a retreat, we're teaching 4, because 36 and all, and it brings in shed loads of energy. The amount of energy it brings in. You have to be kind to people.
Yeah. So do people who come along to your courses, do they have a particular issue, or can anyone come, or do you sort of need to have a need for healing?
No, I mean, people get attracted for all kinds of reasons. I've run a couple of 1 day workshops, and yes, some people come because they're very specific. For example, a lot of people have heard of Ho'oponopono, which is the Hawaiian forgiveness process. The way I teach it is a little bit different than the way a lot of people have learned it, but it's a very powerful process. So some people come just because they want Ho'oponopono, and that's what they want, and that's why they're coming. Some people come because there's something specific, but a lot of people just come. Some people come just because they feel called, and they can't even say why. I've had several people go, I don't know why. I really don't know why. And the same in Hawaii. I mean, my own first calling to Hawaii went along the lines of, Elvis. I've been to all the other big Polynesian archipelagos. This would be a good one to add to the list. And I liked Hawaiian music, and that was really why it was. I didn't, if I'm really honest, I didn't quite know what I was doing there, and it took me a few times before I began to get a real sense of why. But the Hawaiians say if you're called to it, it probably means in a previous lifetime you were a Hawaiian living in Hawaii. I don't know. I think I was a Polynesian navigator, but I've not had a kind of Hawaiian flashback.
Wow, interesting. So if people want to come and find out more from you, what should they do? Have you got a course coming up or anything?
I have. There's a retreat coming up in October in Salisbury. It's the 26th to the 30th. So if you go to https://secretartofhuna.com, and if you go in there, there's actually there's a page about the retreat. There's also a page about the 1 day workshops, and there's also a page where you can sign up for some it's access to some videos that I've done about Huna. So you can go and explore on there and find out more. But then the next 5 days, it's going to be in Salisbury. It's amazing, lovely place, right under the cathedral, 26th to 30th. And then after that, it's going to be, I've got a 1 day workshop coming up in November in Oxford.
And that's an intro, isn't it?
Yeah.
The November one. Yeah, that sounds interesting. Yeah. I'll have to come along to one of those, definitely. So thank you for chatting about handbags and Huna. I bet you could write a book called that.
Yeah. And I do. I mean, I so love your handbag. Oh, that was the other thing about the retreat. If people who pay in full get vouchers. So people who pay in, who join the retreat and pay in full there and then, after the retreat's over, and they've been to the retreat, will get 150 quid's worth of handbag vouchers.
Wow, they can buy handbags,
gifts, and all the lovely things. Because I absolutely love what you're doing. I love the designs, I love the colours, and I love the ethos. So why not?
Oh, thank you. And I'm starting to love what you're doing, so I'm going to have to come and find out more. Definitely, definitely. Anyway, I think I've found your Huna space on Facebook, so that's where we can carry on talking about Huna, and everyone else can join in too, can they? Or is it a special group? I can't remember.
No, I've got there is a Facebook group. It's called Secret Art of Huna for Powerful Transformation. It's membership. It's for women only. It's membership, but it's free, and all you have to do is ask to join. And assuming that you're not a man, I will let you in, unless there's something very peculiar in your Facebook profile. But it's got to be very peculiar.
If you say you like handbags, you're definitely in.
Definitely.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much again for talking today. And I really, it's really nice to hear what you think about what I do, and it's really nice to hear about what you do. So I look forward to seeing you in my group and in your group, and getting to know more and more about you, and seeing some bags on tour pictures maybe from Hawaii.
Oh yes.
I do like a bags on tour picture.
We can definitely do that. I can definitely do that. Yeah.
Okay.
Such a delight to talk about what I do anyway. Thank you. Thank you for giving me.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
All right.
So yeah, that was next time.